don't know. I think it's to a person, their situation. Like, I mean, is money the only motivating factor? Do you want success in your life? And what is success? Is it financial? Is it, accolades? Is it progression of how good you do something, how well you do something, and how you can push your body, and your expertise in something. So for each person, it's just a different thing. I don't know whether kids making more money, less. I think to me that somewhat seems like I'd like to see a Freakonomics study about that. With people who've had financial success along with their sporting success, to see if it has hindered their performance, like statistically. I'm sure they've probably done something like that because they've studied sort of everything. But I think it's an idea, it's a theory. It seems logical. Like you have more, so you don't have as much drive and determination. But everyone's got personal goals too that they want to achieve. So just because you get money doesn't mean that's going to stop you from wanting to achieve something.
What about your guys' just sort of overall general feel on tour? Is fellow Americans being on tour something you think about at all, like when you're traveling or when you're competing? I mean, obviously when you have good friends on tour together, it makes it better. But are you guys thinking about that at all? Is it something that is even on your mind?
I think you can feed off that for sure.
With all, like, these guys, so that's just comes naturally.
Yeah, I think obviously the competition and the right, like, I think we push each other, Obviously you want to do well, and but it's hard. It's this individual sport. Like, we're not a team. We end up surfing against each other fucking 100 times a contest, So it's like, the last guy I want to surf against, So it's just...
Brandon and Kelly have something to do.
You gotta be, like, ready for that. Yeah.
You mean me and Adriano over here?
Took him out of the race, dude. You had a chance.
Hey, chip in a chair. Chip in a chair.
Chip in a chair.
But no, I think it's a good camaraderie, I mean, we're definitely not down there pom-poms for each other, but I think we do. I mean, when they're deep in the contest, I'm rooting for them, So.
Mm-hmm. No, but when you have your little crews, though, like it could be a team or it could be guys from your country, friends, whatever, you definitely can feed off that. I know with our group of friends, Saxon, like when we travel, me and Shane and Rob and Conan and Kalani and everybody, I mean, we really, I feel like we really fed off each other in contests, competition scene.
Yeah. And I think that's what you see in the Brazilians. That's what you see a lot.
They support each other for the most part, but they also have they definitely have a really competitive thing amongst each other. Like, they just want to outdo that guy.
Oh, for sure. And that's what gets them to do better.
I feel like the difference is they don't get jealous; they get motivated.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of Americans, young Americans, will get jealous. And,
no, I ain't seen Medina carrying Felipe up the beach this year. Have you?
No, but no, I'm just saying, I think he gets motivated off of it.
No, yeah, he gets motivated off it.
Yeah, but he doesn't get jealous. He doesn't get eggy.
Well, I don't know whether it does. I'm just saying I haven't seen him show up when Philippe's on the stage. That's
no, I know. That's
I'm
not
sure he's
saying that though.
Yeah.
I think just certain situations breed. I mean, when you feel like you're a minority in a situation, you want to stick together with your brother. Those guys, they're not a minority anymore, but they still feel that, And I've noticed that, and I think it's the raddest thing, I mean, and Brother's probably the biggest advocate of it is, just on social media doing, not only helping the Groms out, but always hitting the American flag, always doing that thing, because at a point his generation starts to feel like a minority, and he starts to feel that more than maybe me and Kelly would be, just because of like you said, the generation he grew up in. You even grew up when you probably felt like
Kelly could
you had to stick together with your friends Shane and Ross because
Florida flag. I'm all Florida flags. When you say minority though, when we were starting out,
point where
East Coasters were a minority.
For sure, we felt that way.
Oh yeah,
and that's why
that's a huge driving force, I think. When you feel like you're sort of an outcast a little bit from the group, and you got to get your way in there or be accepted or whatever. I mean, that's like paddling out a pipe, I
mean, there was a time when I was growing up in Florida where it was just you weren't even on the map in Florida. And I was like, oh my gosh, Kelly's putting us on the map. So like, if we can just slipstream into that, into his trails, we'll be good.
Hightail on out of here.
But you know what I mean? Like we felt like a minority, and you felt like that going, so I think it's good.
I was the only East Coaster on the world team. Maybe both times I surfed the world contest. I think we had an e-boarder on there.
Yeah.
I think Barry Bazowski was in there. No, but
I remember that.
I went to England in '86, and I was the only ESA guy and the only East Coaster, and it was all NSA guys, the whole rest of the team, and it was.
See what you can win a bunch
Oh,
of world
actually,
titles if you have something to prove.
Lisa Anderson made it on the team, but she'd been living in California a couple of years, and she came through the NSA thing. So there was definitely a lot of that. You know, I think the reason that I think Brazil is doing so well because they just won it. You know, I think honestly, Brett doesn't seem to agree with me, but I think they want it more. Those guys are so driven. I think they go to the beach dreaming about a bigger life. You know, like the guys who are getting good and they want to go travel around the world.
I'm not saying I disagree.
I'm saying you disagree.
That's fine.
Okay. No. You were just saying like you don't think they.
I feel like the more media can portray that, you know.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But I feel like obviously.
Have you seen those guys paddle for a wave, bro? They want it more.
Yeah, they catch a lot of waves. But yeah,
they triple my wave count a lot of days. But I forgot what I was gonna say. I had a good point there.
Kaloy, I feel like, following you on social media and stuff, and like CJ was saying with the flags on everything.
You
and
liking the photos?
When you have a win, you've got the flag draped on your back and stuff. Is that something that was sparked by what you saw that the young Brazilian guys were doing with the whole Brazilian Storm thing, or have you always been patriotic and you're just sort of flexing it a little bit more now?
I don't know. All these guys have been getting draped with the American flag forever.
I'm not patriotic though.
But you have a flag on your back.
Occasionally.
Well, you won like 700 contests.
I feel like your pride is more
If you win
of
that
the
many,
East
you
Coast,
just get
rivalry.
He doesn't have it.
Yeah, I actually
American.
want to take a Florida flag, not as a joke, but like I would be stoked to have a Florida flag. You know what I mean? You should have a Cali flag, man.
Well,
Big old
that brings
bear.
up a good point of sort of separation with
Maybe
what's
that's the
going on with the
problem
Hawaiians.
American surfing.
Yeah.
How do you
the
guys
problem.
feel
Care
about the
about
Hawaiians
yourself.
being categorized as sort of their
It's like
own,
Orange County.
and almost like their own country, so to speak, because they don't really claim to be part of the nation. They're kind of like, we're Hawaiians. How do you guys feel
I'm fine
about
with
that?
sovereignty.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'd be cool if they were their own country, to be honest with you. But
What's sovereignty?
sovereignty, they're a sovereign land. They're their own people, and they would be separate from the U.S.
But they shouldn't be able to come out just if they don't make it here. The amateurs come out to the mainland team and get on
Dual
there.
citizenship.
I mean,
Yeah, that
was
one
that's taken away from.
This actually put me off the world
Seabass
team.
used to be on the U.S. team.
I got
from
pushed.
Florida.
I got pushed off.
Well, he says Hawaii next to him.
No, I know.
I got pushed off the world team in what year was that? 88, going to Puerto Rico, because Kaipoakias didn't get on the Hawaii team. He came over and got on the U.S. team and pushed me off. And yeah, so, and it's funny, he didn't. I don't know how he didn't get on the Hawaiian team, because he was easily one of the best guys. Or whatever, he had a bad day or whatever, so he kind of got two chances and then smoked me. But yeah, I mean, because I don't know
that's
that.
just the way it's been, huh? Like it's been like that forever. It
Yeah.
seems. No.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of makes sense. I mean, they're literally across the whole distance of
They're in
another
the
country
middle,
away
yeah,
from us.
they're-
They're like
they're really-
they're as far from California as Florida is.
Halfway there. Yeah.
So Florida should be its own country.
Australia is closer.
Because there's some
Sovereignty.
weird
You know,
stuff. Weird stuff goes down in Florida. You read the news lately?
I might go off on a little tangent here, but like
Yeah, let's hear
I'm
it.
guessing you
Let's
will.
Hear it.
when
I'm sick and tired.
when I
of
think
this.
of like
Everyone
minority
agrees.
and doing good, I also feel like the word minority also goes with like being really insecure. You know, I had this conversation with this Brazilian guy. I'm like, you have the biggest athletes. Gabriel Medina has the most social media people on tour. Like, why do you as a country feel so insecure? Why are you so insecure you have to go on
soccer
every
team, yeah.
single social media website and defend a Brazilian? They're the best in the world. You've won a world title, you got the most followers, like why are you so insecure? But I think that same insecurity drives those guys so gnarly because gosh forbid, if I don't make my heat, no one's gonna like me. Freaking, I ain't gonna get 1 billion likes. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in like, that's why they're doing so good. Like, I feel like insecurity and those words, in those thoughts can be a motivator for doing good, and I feel like that's a lot of the reason why those guys do good. So you guys need to get real insecure, Natty, and
Don't worry, bro. I've been insecure my whole life.
you already succeed. You've already succeeded, bro.
Steve, that's why you cut that whole thing out there because he's gonna cop so much shit for calling Brazilians insecure that he's gonna get another 1 million followers.
You know what?
He's all, I'm done, bro.
Yeah, and you know what? Hey,
I'm going for
look,
the Kiwi.
if it wasn't true, I mean, the guy was like a politician, like a high politician Brazilian. I was talking to in Sao Paulo, and I'm like, I love you guys. Tell me why that is. But I'm talking to it from a good way, and being those things like are motivators to achieve your goals.
And
So-
it could be a lot of people do portray them
Hey,
as
look,
out of control.
I went off on a
or
tangent.
whatever
Am
it
I
is.
right or am I wrong?
You're
Everything
always
I
right.
said.
I'm always right.
I am always
I'm
right.
never
So say that. But yeah, so when everyone starts thinking that Americans are minority and you guys are super insecure and you feel like I have to make my next heat or the whole world's gonna explode.
I think it would be
then-
embarrassing if there was 1 or 2 American guys hobbling, barely staying on tour. You know what I mean? And,
It would
if
be
we got pushed
embarrassing.
off, like, I mean,
Yeah.
we should be leading because we've had the most guys for the longest period of time pushing the sport. We should have an edge.
Well, that brings up a good point of sort of like the history of surfing, right? So if we include Hawaii, because we're here, Duke, the birthplace of surfing, it goes way, way back. American, we have all these heroes to look back on, Mickey Dora, Phil Edwards, all that, and Australia has that too. And if we're comparing it to Brazil, relatively young as far as the history of the sport there, and they're people they look up to and stuff, or look back on careers and follow in footsteps and stuff like that. So they're kind of blazing their own path, so to speak,
I think
too.
they treat it as a sport. At home, it's like it can be a lifestyle. It's what you do. You have guys. Obviously, we compete. There's a lot of kids, but they treat it like this is our sport. They don't go like.
I think
go to
parents
the
do
beach.
that.
They go down there and they're like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
catch 36 waves and freaking ride them to the beach. And I'm gonna catch more than my friend. Like that's how they treat it. It seems. Where I feel it's different. Like at home.
I think that from
somewhat-
when I was a kid, people take it way more serious as a sport and a career path and all that stuff now. Like
Now.
when I was starting,
Yeah.
I had no idea I could have
Yeah,
a career
like
in surfing.
that's-
I remember when I was about 6 years old in kindergarten, and I was like, I think I'm a surfer. And I didn't really know what that meant, but I was like, that's the thing I'd like to do most. So I think that's what I am. I sort of like identified myself. And then, but I wasn't ever thinking like I could have a job. I mean, I think that year Sean Thompson made $2,000 on being a world champion that year. Yeah. In '78 or whatever year that was. So, like that wasn't really like your parents didn't want you to aspire to be a surfer.
Yeah.
You were a stoner and you didn't
Yeah,
go to
the
school
portrayal
and you
is
didn't make any
just-
money.
Well, and therefore, when that does become what the career path could potentially be, it becomes much more serious, like from the family, from the coaching staff, everything else, because there's money involved. And then, like you mentioned, Gabriel Medina and Felipe and some of the other kids from Brazil have these large social media followings. So how do you guys feel that technology has tied into all this with all that kind of stuff? Like, because it plays into sort of
I think
what
it's
it
a
is
good
to be a pro
thing.
surfer.
I mean,
You guys
everything
have fans.
has to keep evolving and has to keep changing. I mean, like, okay, Australia and America is supposed to be a powerhouse. Well, Brazil won last year, and they have 3 people in the runnings to win this year. So that's the truth. They are the biggest. They're bigger than Australia. They're bigger than America. They
Being in Brazil this year showed me
No,
that we
it's
have a
the
lot
truth.
of work
It's
to
not
do right
like-
now. Everyone else has a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Like the energy is just going over
I
there,
mean,
and it's not what
and-
people expect in the surf
the
industry. and
surfer
surf
pole. I
world.
mean, how many Americans are going to be in the Brazilian surfer pole? There's going to be none. Okay, well, I'm just saying all these things have already happened. It's here, and it'll be here for a little bit, and then eventually there'll be a shift. you know, and it'll go back the other way. I just think that's natural evolving. I think that's rad that things evolve like that, because I mean, if American was powerhouse the whole time, that would stink. You know, I'm actually glad that. I think it'd be better for our country if we don't.
Yeah, I think it gives us something to strive for. You know, the kids coming up, these guys. I mean, put lights of fire under their ass.
Right. Hey, I like cheering for the underdog. Go, Natty.
When I got on tour, maybe the only guy I thought could just completely kick my ass was Tom Curran. But I basically looked at almost everyone on. Basically, I looked at everyone on tour. And I was like, the level's not that good. And I want to see a kid come up right now and say, yeah, the level's not that good. Like, I want to see where he's aspiring to go.
I think that's what Gabriel did, it seemed like.
Yeah, he just.
Yeah,
it's like he just had that belief in his head. Like,
I think
I'm
that's
just gonna,
another thing.
That confidence, I think for sure. I mean, you felt that way because you felt like your level was somewhere where you could smash that.
I just felt like the level wasn't that high,
beat
and there was a whole lot more that could be done.
Yeah.
So, like, I hope the kids right now are seeing it that way. Like, okay, that's great, but like, I'm not going to be too blown away about what anyone does. I'm going to go out and do something bigger, faster, higher, whatever, you know.
Yeah, I think you gotta be cold-blooded in your confidence and that's what Gabriel has, you know, and
Insecure but confident.
yeah, it's no, but that's
No,
what I'm
that's
saying.
actually
Like,
real, right?
That's, I mean, those are.
Well, insecurity breeds ego, you
Yeah.
know, and
I mean-
ego breeds confidence in competition.
And it's just the
and
perfect
stuff.
balance of all that, you know. I mean, obviously, if those scales get tipped, it's a bad concoction for sure.
That's why that's why people in sport get so. I think people in sport get so attached to a thing because like I just said, that sort of equation of like insecurity breeding the ego, then you get confidence in your contest because you just or whatever your sport is.
Yeah. Well, when you
and
said
then you attach so much to that thing, you can't separate your life from that or who you are or those kind of things. So it's like it sort of makes you one-sided in a way, you know, as a person. It kind of just like your whole confidence and everything is attached to this one thing, and if you let that thing go, then you're back to sort of square one.
Yeah, or you don't know what it is. And I mean, when you said, hey, look, I felt like I was better than everyone else, then none of us took like that was a bad way or you were being cocky or, or any of those things. It was just like that was the reality of the situation, and then you want someone else to come along to push the sport and to be that person. Obviously, it's good when you have a couple people that do that, you know.